I'd like to invite our young filmmakers who are in the audience to come up on stage with me. Good morning. Come take a seat. Hi. Wonderful to see you again. How about a huge hand for our young filmmakers? First of all, we have Jaelle here, who made What News? Jaelle was actually in our film camp last year. We have MyLee over here, who made the Why Is It So Loud at Night film. We have Lenin and Hazel Heaton, who made the preview slash trailer film Too Cool. And over here we have Arianna Williams, who made Find Your Way. So I am so proud of all of you. And we'll see if we have, do we have anyone on the Zoom call as well joining us? If you didn't, I'm not sure. Okay, that doesn't look like we do yet. Maybe Linnea and Kian might join us as well. We'll see. Uh, First of all, for most of you, I believe this was either your first or second film ever made. Is that correct? Yes? Is it like the second film? Yeah, I think all of them was only their first or second film that they ever did. So, first of all, JL, we've all had, me probably more than anyone else in the room, autocorrect issues. So, what was your idea behind taking autocorrect and coming up with building autocorrect as a way to utilize a teleprompter during a news broadcast?
Um, it was mostly for like because I thought it was funny whenever it would autocorrect something funny. So, because I wanted to do something funny for my video, and I just thought of that. So that was my script. And then my sister Rachel came up with the idea for like a news channel thing. So it's basically a combination of that.
And so the script was done entirely through autocorrect, or how did you write the script?
Well, the some of the lines weren't. Like my lines, I had to think about it and like write down funny weather instances and um but my sister Rachel who did the news channel, hers was autocorrect and my sister Naomi who did the sports channel also had the autocorrect.
So you essentially let the computer write the script and then have to. So how do you keep a straight face too when you're saying such ridiculous things? How many takes did you have to do?
Quite a lot. um and my little sister Naomi, you notice how she was taking breaths
Right.
in between her lines. She was trying not to laugh. So, and Rachel was trying not to also, but she made like a little smirk and tried to like not laugh at one of the parts because it was funny.
Well, congratulations on your film, What News. Thank you for entering it into the film festival this year. Hello, MyLee. Welcome back. This was the second year that MyLee has participated in our film camp, and you made a film that is I find really interesting because it's entirely driven by sound, and that's something that we talked about in the film camp about how audio sets the emotional tone. If your film could have had some happy clown music and it would have had a totally different vibe, right? It's trying to get a snack at night, which could be just a very mundane, basic thing, but the music that you added in gave it such a chilling, dark effect. Almost, it felt to me like David Lynch's Eraserhead in a way. Uh, what made you want to make a film about that? What inspired? Why is it so loud at night?
Um, the real thing was that I was going a different way, And then I looked on YouTube, and it's where this guy was doing a video where everything was over intensified, so you had a lot of sound effects in it. And then when it came down to like the nitty gritty editing, I wasn't gonna do that with the sound effects, so I just added music.
Terrific. Well, it gives it a whole different vibe, which I like the fact that, and hopefully you learned from it that, um, there's a whole genre of, horror films and psychological thrillers. It doesn't necessarily have to be what we're seeing on screen. The sound alone can drive that emotion, right? Great job on that. Lenin and Hazel, hello. This was the second year that Lenin has been in our film camp, and for Hazel, it was the first time in our film camp. Also, you would have recognized MyLee, Lenin, and Hazel from our Great Race film. And Arianna and also Shantaya's, and her sister Shantaya also participated in our film camp and in the making of the Great Race film. But your idea this year was to make a preview, but your film is actually a preview. How did that concept come together?
Well, at first, I had my first movie I ever made. I also made a trailer for it, and the trailer ended up being like so much better than the movie. And it like I really the I don't know the trailer was like made the movie seem super great, like, and then it like wasn't that good. So then I thought that it would be good to make a trailer because on my first movie that went pretty well.
And Hazel, you joined your brother this year in our film camp. So, what did you think of the overall experience of getting to make a film?
Uh, it was really enjoyable and fun. Uh, we did run into some like problems multiple times, but yeah.
Any filmmaker that's in this room and any filmmaker who has traveled here, even the ones who have made many, many, many films, will tell you that making a film of any kind is a labor of love, passion, heartache, many hours. And sometimes you wonder, why am I even doing this? But then you get to see the final finished product and get to enjoy. So, are you happy with the film that you made?
I'm happy with it.
I am too.
Terrific. And how about the Great Race? What did you think of your experience of our big giant group project with all of our students?
I think it went pretty well. I
Yeah,
liked it.
it looked pretty good.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much for coming out, and thank you for being a part of our film camp. And hello, Arianna.
Hi.
Welcome back. You've been a regular at our film festival this whole weekend. Thank you for being here. She had an incredible toga Friday night for our National Lampoon's Animal House. She participated in our dance off with Otis Day here on stage during Animal House. That was tons of fun. Thank you for being here and for being a part of the film festival.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me.
So let's hear the backstory for. So you made the film Find Your Way, which is about a traveling musician that is looking for inspiration and eventually finds it. Let's get the backstory of how this idea for a story came about.
So initially, I had joined the summer camp. Um, I found out through my sister, and my mom was like, she wanted to do a vacation, so we ended up going on a vacation. It was my first time on a train, not what I was expecting, and I we were on our way back from vacation, and I ran into a musician that my mom was talking to, and he started playing some of his music, and I was like, wow, like I could use that as some inspiration. So I was like, can I make a movie about you? And he said, yeah, let's try that. So next day on the 14th, I called up you, Kurt, and I was like, where do I begin? Like, how can I start? And you were like, do you have some ideas? And I put off some ideas, and you're like, okay, come into my office when you have time. We'll figure something out. So we started, it took about 3 days to put the whole thing together. And you, Kurt, and Bowen and Chantel Williams, I wanted to give a huge shout out to for helping me make my film. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
all of these projects are a collaborative effort. Arianna is the one who came to me and said, I really want to make a film, but I'm not sure if I can do it by myself. I said, we'll help. But even for each of you, you also had family involved and siblings involved. So filmmaking is not just a one-person thing. And sometimes we all need that support in order to finish off your project. So I do also want to open this up to audience questions. We have a microphone there and a microphone there. If anyone has a question for any of our filmmakers, please by all means go up to a microphone and ask. So after seeing your films on screen, there's filmmakers out there who are professional filmmakers who have never gotten a film into a film festival before, ever. And yet for your very first film or second film ever, you're part of a prominent nationally known film festival. Is that scary, intimidating, fun, cool to know? What do you think about the fact that you got a film that you made ended up on a big screen at a film festival?
I think it's pretty cool.
Is it too cool?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's too cool.
We have a question over here.
I'm just curious that now that you've all been through this process of making your film, going through all of the steps within that, what's your biggest takeaway from it? What's the number one thing that you learned through the process?
Okay. My biggest takeaway is that filming takes a lot of effort and time, and everything is nitty gritty. You have to know everything, or else it's gonna turn out horribly. So.
There's a lot we cover in 5 days in the film camp, and I don't expect anyone to retain even half of what I say during the film camp. But if you even keep a smidgen of it, and maybe by the end of the camp you go, oh yeah, that's what Kurt was talking about when you actually go out and try to film something. Anyone else want to comment on that question? Like maybe what you learned from the film camp, or
Well, we learned to definitely be more organized. Like, sometimes we just forget things or not be able to film it because we didn't charge our batteries for our camera.
I think every filmmaker in this room can attest to the fact that at some point during our careers, we have forgotten the SD card in the camera. We forgot to press record. We didn't take the lens cap off. We didn't charge the battery. We have all been there, done that many times over. So don't feel like that's a rookie mistake. Even the hardened professionals at some point gotten on set and realized, uh-oh, I forgot that really important piece that we absolutely need for today. I've done that many times over. Anyone else want to comment on that? Yes. Oh, good. Good. Go ahead, Arianna.
I would like to say, Kurt said to keep a penny on you. That is the best advice. And keep trying. Eventually, you guys will get it. It took many shots, and eventually we were able to put something together, and it came out wonderfully.
Jaelle, did you want to comment as well?
All I can take away is editing is hard.
Another thing that I think every filmmaker in the room can attest to, editing is a very laborious, tedious process, but it's also where the creativity comes out. To these students, I compare the filmmaking process to painting. I tell them that think of when an artist grabs canvas and they're inspired to make something. Usually they will first do a pencil sketch on the canvas, and then they will gather all of their colors, and then eventually they put the paint on canvas. Those are the different steps to it. The actual filming is just gathering your color palette. And the creative process, the editing process, is when you actually put paint to canvas and when you finally see this amazing thing that you got to create. So it's those multiple steps along the way to finally get to the end product. We have another question over here from Maribel.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so first off, I want to start by saying absolutely loved your films, especially with 5 days. That must have been very labor intensive. But I wanted to know what was the most challenging aspect for each of you in making your films, and how did you overcome it or find another way to achieve what you wanted to achieve in your film?
You want to take that on? How did you overcome challenges with your film?
Okay. My biggest problem is editing because my computer hates editing. So in the end, it was all glitchy and stuff. So I was just gonna come up and say everything that happened was planned.
I think a lot of filmmakers say that too when there's continuity errors or whatnot. Oh, that's totally intentional. That in one shot someone's wearing a red shirt and the camera cuts away and then they're wearing a blue shirt in the next shot. That stuff happens more often than you think in movies. Lennon, did you have something you want to add?
I think that the hardest part was getting everybody together to actually film the movie, and then getting everybody to do like what your idea was, like getting everybody to make it happen.
Hazel, did you want to add to that?
Yeah. So we actually, that lunch table scene was a very hard scene to film. And it was a challenge because we accidentally pushed cut for action and action for cut. So we had to, Lennon, his great editing skills, he edited it and made it good.
That is another thing that I think every filmmaker in our room here can attest to having done at some point is when we think that we're recording, we're actually hitting stop on the recording and we don't capture it. Yeah, I am very, very guilty of that as well. Arianna, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Our challenge is probably finding a place to park on the side of the road. That was interesting, but we finally found a spot next to Moore Park. And that's about it, yeah.
Do we have another question over here?
Did. So is it MyLee? I'm sorry, I couldn't remember.
Correct, yes.
MyLee, your lighting, you were doing a night scene, and so you had light on your face even though you were in the kitchen. And then when you opened your refrigerator, I mean, I expect you to be lit up with that, but even when you closed it, the light fixed itself and I could still see you illuminated. And I was curious, what was your secret to lighting up your face in a night shot? Because night shots are so hard to film. So how did you did you have a lot of help, or did you just have lights placed somewhere?
For me, I did a one-man show, so it was just me, and I had one light, like a stick light, just on tripod. I guess it was at the right angle.
That was really neat.
For those of you who are Herald and News subscribers, you may remember back in July, there was a front page article about our film camp, and it was a shot of MyLee while we were testing out different lighting. We were, the reporter came by as we were trying to recreate a 1930s film noir look on MyLee's face of using shadows to only show certain portions and blacking out the rest of it. And so we were having some fun in the film camp of seeing how you can manipulate different angles of light and different types of light in order to get a totally different look. So thank you for recognizing that. Sometimes, though, it's not planned out that way. It just works out to your advantage as a fluke situation. See, we have another question over here. Yes.
Yeah, Dad, I really love this. I was really impressed, ties in with the question that you asked, how you all chose to go different lighting, just not straight like a photograph, different angles. And I was really impressed with that. And Arianna, I wish I didn't live in Klamath because I always trying to guess where you're at. But I got a big question is, how'd you get whenever you went over, above ground, did you rent a plane or what?
I'm a commercial drone pilot. I'm a private pilot and a commercial drone pilot.
Oh.
So it was Arianna and her sister, and Bowen was the actor who was actually one of our Klamath Film Board members. I don't see Bowen in the audience here. And then I brought my drone along, And so we were able to get some drone shots as well. But so that's a film that, yes, I did help out on in some of the filming, but that was entirely her film. It was her concept. She did a ton of work on it. It's her film. I did a part of it. But thank you for noticing that. I appreciate that someone recognized my piloting skills. Do we have any other questions for our filmmakers? No? If not, then please stay here because we have awards, okay? So our film festival goes through a rigorous selection process. We actually have 3 levels of judging. We have initial screeners that watch every single film that gets submitted to us from February through June. They score everything based on different tiers, and then we average out those scores, and the lowest films get cut. Then we have an entire second group of filmmakers second group of judges that watch the surviving films, score everything, and then we debate every single one of those films to determine what is actually going to make it into the festival and what gets cut. Then we have a whole third group of professionals who work in the film industry in Hollywood who watch all of those selected films, give us scores, and they determine our award winners. We have cash prizes for our award winners. Additionally, we also have a prize for one of our film camp participants, and that is judged based on our board of directors. So our board members watch all of the films that our students make and vote on that, and that film wins a cash prize. So first of all, congratulations to all of you, because anyone in here who has tried to make a film before knows how difficult it is to make a film and how courageous it is to then have your film displayed publicly, even if it's just on YouTube or something, to kind of, it can be scary to kind of figure out what the reactions may be, but then to have it in a film festival where professional filmmakers are then watching what you made is incredible. So all of you are huge winners in my book, okay? So, it doesn't look like any of our out-of-town filmmakers were able to make it. Linnea Gebauer, whose film you saw, Fire Season, won, like I said, won second place in a national youth film competition that was put on by C-SPAN, and congratulations to her. She is now at film school down in California. We have, first of all, our best Southern K-12 winner, as voted on by our Hollywood Awards judges, goes to Jaelle. Jaelle has won $250 for her film. Additionally, we have a Northern K-12 winner, which goes to the film 4 Tracks by Kian Doty, and Kian is not able to join us. I was hoping he would join on Zoom, but Kian, if you are watching on the live stream, we will be mailing you a check for $250, and congratulations. And then we have our film camp winner. Our film camp winner receives $100. I am so proud of all of our film camp participants, as well as our group project, The Great Race. It was very silly. I realized we wrote the script together. So if you get 17 middle school and high school kids in a room, that's the story that comes out. But our film camp winner, who receives $100, is for the film Find Your Way. Congratulations, Arianna. You made an incredible film. And congratulations, Lenin, Heaton, MyLee, and Jaelle. Thank you so much for participating in the Klamath Independent Film Festival. We hope you stick around and watch some more films and meet some of our traveling filmmakers who have come to enjoy. And please, everyone, come congratulate these kids if you see them around, okay? Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in our panel. Up next, we have our local ties blocks. These are films shot locally here in Klamath County or by Klamath County resident filmmakers. This also includes one film, Priest, by a gentleman named Steve Gardner, who grew up here in Klamath Falls and has worked on many films. Steve and his film partner, John Garcia. Steve used to come to this theater as a kid, and they had a feature film in last year's festival, and it was his first time back here in about 30 years. It was very surreal for Steve being on this stage. So our next block of films, we will start in exactly 1 minute. Enjoy our local ties films on our third day of the Klamath Independent Film Festival. Today we are featuring short films that are under 40 minutes in length. Thank you so much for being here.